Okay, so if you don't mind just introducing yourself.
My name is Kerstin Kansteiner. I'm a local business owner here in Long Beach, California. I was born in Germany, I was born in Europe, and I moved here about 27, maybe a little even longer years ago. And I opened my first cafe, and I now own 3 cafes and a movie theater and a wine. I own 2 coffee houses, and they're strictly cafes with coffee or blended drinks, iced tea, cold brewed coffee that you would in the past drink with a straw. And that was fairly easy. It's a walk-up cafe, you order your drink, you move over to an area, and there are all the implements that you would need, like sugar and lids. Back then, what they're now referred to as sip-through lids were not there, so we had to use our existing lids, and a straw was still needed, because you couldn't just take the cup and then somehow drink through the lid, or you would have to take the lid off, so it was more difficult. So we had that model, and at that point we just converted to corn-based straws. We had them at the counter, and it is difficult, we serve a lot of customers, it's come and go, so it's difficult to have a conversation, so it was a lot by signage. At my restaurant, Berlin Bistro, it's easier because there's table service, we have a lot more time with the guest. The servers were very, very accommodating, and we're excited that we're making the switch. So my staff was on board from day one. And there was, a little bit of education, this is what we're doing, so we immediately took away all the straws. They would, typically you would have ordered an iced coffee and they would just have straws already, big packets of straws in their apron, and they would just put them on the table. So we stopped that immediately. And then they would have to have a conversation with the guests and said, we no longer carry straws. If you like a straw, please ask me, I would be happy to bring one for you. We have some available. But in general, we ordered long kind of stir sticks or spoons, and those were used, if somebody had sugar or wanted to stir the drink. We also own a movie theater and a little independent theater, and we learned that we cannot take the straw away completely because it's dark and you can't really drink out of the cup in the movie theater. So we switched to corn-based, but we also are selling metal straws, and we have them available at the counter. And a lot of our regular customers have actually taken to that, and they now bring their own straw. And we also adopted the policy, if you bring your own cup, we can put whatever drink you would like in your own cup, and then you can drink out of that. So we had a few customers that said, oh, if I bring my travel mug to the movie theater, can you put, your Dr. Pepper or your Sprite in that cup, and I can drink out of that? And we said, yeah, absolutely. So, we clearly give folks the choice, but most of them still opting for the straw there just because it's a smoothie and it's thicker, and it's a location that's next to the gym, so you work out, you get your smoothie, and then you're off in the car. So we've seen that this is the location that is like adjusting the slowest, but we're selling the most metal straws there. I have to say, I always felt myself that I was like a very conscious person when it comes to environmental issues. I was not aware of the straw issue at all, and it caught me by surprise. And one day I went to the art theater and I saw a movie called Straws by Linda Booker, and the movie moved me so much that literally I saw the film on a Saturday, and I decided that weekend, by Monday, all my businesses would no longer carry straws. So it was a very sudden, this film was very instrumental, changing my whole relationship with straws and just being conscious about it. So. But I think the first call was to suppliers. I called and said, okay, we have these straws and I need to replace them. So my first thought was to replace the straws with either a paper straw or a corn straw. So I called suppliers, they brought in new products on Monday, and I looked at different qualities, would they last, how would our customers think about them. So the first, I would say, like 8 to 10 months was a process of switching the material of the straw. We still offered the straws. And then we realized that we can completely take out straws out of certain areas of my business. And now we are completely straw-free. Because there was a quote in the film where somebody said, look, if you're drinking a glass of water in your home, you don't go and whip out a straw and put a straw in it at the dinner table. You drink your beverage just like I'm drinking something like this here now. You put your mouth to your glass to your mouth and you drink it. So, and that was just so simple. And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this is this simple. Yes, so I went cold turkey. I'm not sure if I would recommend that. I think there's a lot of communication needed, and that is one thing that I learned. I did make up signs immediately at our counter. I immediately posted signs that, you know, these are different straws. There's a learning process with the straw. For example, the straws that we chose were corn, and you can't like chew on the straw anymore. So we had a lot of customers that thought we bought bad straws. So communication is key. I think I would recommend, yes, do it immediately because it can be done. But we as business owners need to be good communicators with our customers. So we, after that, not only had signage, but we sent out emails. I had to train my staff to kind of look for those moments where people like, oh, what is this? So it's a process. In the meantime, even Long Beach has undergone a complete transformation. So now our guests are highly aware of the subject and they range from proud of us to happy, take it for granted already that you don't get a straw anymore. And you know, and once in a while you have somebody that has never even heard of it and they're completely stunned by this development that they don't get a straw.
Yeah.
So the ones that were, you know, like we call them the straw chewers, that like kind of munch on them, and you know, obviously with the corn-based straw, it immediately breaks. It's a brittle material, so you can't do that. So most of them were able to convert them to a metal straw, so that kind of worked for them. Not that you can chew on a metal straw either, but it just, at least if you have that habit and you're driving away in your car, and I think that was the most unfortunate situation for them. They're driving away, they're not even in the store anymore, we can't correct whatever is happening, and they're on their way to work, and they bought a beverage and they now can't drink it because they just broke the straw. So, and that's kind of where like the residual like kind of disappointment came from. It was like, oh my God, you know, now I have this drink and I can't drink it. I want to say on the second day of taking away the straws, we had a lady come in who was disabled and needed a straw to drink from. And I was shocked and embarrassed, and I was like, oh my God. So we had nothing available at the time that day. And so we were embarrassed and caught off guard. So that was not, and I would recommend that you have, you know, some other implement ready right away. So we apologized, and we you know, had some other straws that in the back room. So you have to prepare for those moments. And she was not angry, she was just caught off guard and we were not prepared. So there's some pitfalls to run into and you have to be prepared for it. We had a few customers that were just simply not happy. They, you know, have issues with their teeth, or, you know, oh, I'm doing it so it doesn't stain my teeth. So from folks that said, well, I use a straw because I don't trust your cup. I don't know if it's clean enough, and that's why I use it. I had never thought about that, and I didn't know that that's why people are using straws, but I guess that is a concern. It's, you know, it's the fork. Nobody brings in, you know, plastic forks. They all want metal forks. We wash them. So I think it's just maybe a misnomer, or maybe, you know, they're told one day, oh, don't drink directly from the cup. So I think it's just a re-education. We definitely learned to keep it a lighthearted, friendly conversation. And I think the reminder is really not to blame them. You know, oh God, you're still using straws? You can't have that. You know, then they would never come back. I mean, I don't want to shame them into, you know, not using straws. I want them to realize the issue and possibly make a change. So we always, I had to educate my staff and say, so if you see the wandering eye that goes over the counter and they're looking for a straw. So that's when you jump in and ask, are you looking for straws? Did you know that we don't do straws anymore? We have these new lids you can sip through. But if you're driving, we still have straws right here for you. And that's when we pull out the straws from under the counter and offer it and say, if you like a straw, we still have them. They're corn-based now, so be careful you can't really like nibble on them anymore. But and then, I would say most of the time they're like, oh, okay, no, I'm good. So it's the policy of just being educational and just, bringing it out and still showing the product and saying, oh, we still have it. But reminding them with the new lid, oh, you technically don't need it anymore. And that makes a difference. And we had some folks that felt like we were trying to not teach, but I think kind of convey like a political message, and they really didn't want to hear that. And that's, it's difficult. I mean, we're in California, and California typically is very progressive. We live in a city that is very progressive. My businesses, almost all of them, are within 4 blocks from the ocean. So if you go to the ocean, all you see in the sand, and most people that live in Long Beach go to the ocean once in a while, and if you would look around, pretty much most of the trash that you see are straws or plastic bottles or plastic cups. So, I don't think we've ever gone into tirades and telling them that how much plastic particles are actually in every fish that you eat. And I think that's a conversation that somebody else needs to have, and I think that's a learning experience. But there was a time when this YouTube video was very popular where a turtle had the straw stuck up the nose. And sometimes when you refer to that, people acknowledge that they saw us on Facebook or somebody emailed to them, and it was a reminder, oh, that's right, yeah, this is going on, and this can be very detrimental to animals. And when you say, look, we're so close to the ocean, I would love for my beach to be cleaner, and this is a part, what I can do. So then people kind of soften up. And we had a table once here at Berlin at the restaurant, and the family was from Idaho, so they're not near a beach, and they had completely, I don't want to say no understanding, but they were completely like, why are you doing this? Why? I don't understand. And I said, and I really had to reach to really deep to explain this, but they're far from the ocean and they had no idea what an impact it made. And I feel like they walked away and they're a lot more aware of it, but I think we're lucky we live in a city here in Long Beach that is close to the ocean, and we can feel the impact. We can see it if we walk on the beach. We can see if we're on a riverbed that most of the trash that piles up on the sides is a plastic-related trash. So yeah, it's probably a little easier for us here in Long Beach to communicate that. The alcoholic drink buyers didn't even really notice it. It was not even, it was shocking. For decades, we've learned you get a cocktail and there's a little straw in it. And I think, if anything, that's just my interpretation, but the little straw is it's like a busy tool that you just use, but it's not really something you need. And taking it away made no difference. Nobody ever even asked. For example, an iced tea, or we do some layered iced teas where we actually have like different layers where you can see that. But
with the alcohol?
Not with the alcohol, but with iced tea. We offer a metal spoon. And with the alcohol, if somebody would like that, we bring it, but we've never needed to. So there's really, that question has never come up. I think financially, it was a shock at first when I got when I got together with suppliers and I said we would like to change, and how much would that be? it is more expensive, and I have to just be blunt, that's how it is. I think it's almost a plastic straw versus a clone-based straw is almost 10 times more expensive. And with straws, we're talking about pennies, true, but we are in the business of very small margins in cafe and restaurants. So we're calculating every penny. So then to lose that margin, you know, was a decision that I made, and I made that because I wanted to, you know, do this for the better of the environment, and I was ready to make that. In hindsight, I actually now learned by actually taking away the straws or reducing the amount of straws that we're giving out, I think financially we're breaking even, and we might actually be better off. So by not giving out a straw for every single drink, whether it's used or not, by not giving out straws for alcoholic beverages, for a cocktail or so, because all you do is you just stir it once or twice and then you take the straw out. We might actually be saving money. So in the long run, I think it was even financially good decision. And not that, to me, this is not about money, but I think there is a financial advantage to doing this. Using less straws or no straws anymore, that entire, you know, it's about storage. Those boxes of straws were huge, and we don't even have that anymore. Financially, you don't have that cost anymore. We have our reusable spoons, we wash them, and they go back on at the front counter. So we're into this campaign for almost a year and a half, and we've gone pretty far, and you know, I made myself available. I've talked to other restaurants. I participated in a restaurant week in Long Beach where the organization said, okay, we would like to support this. So I've been interviewed by local papers. So I really wanted to, not just for this to be my message, but for everyone to share this. And I want to say, I could quite possibly every single day there's somebody at the counter that says thank you very much. So it's very positive. But I think also it made us, me as a business owner, make me feel like I'm part of the community. There was a lot of warm welcome, hey, yes, you're doing a good thing. So I think it should not be overlooked that there's a huge positive impact on every customer, that you're actually doing something good for the environment and that you're trying to help. I don't think that's overlooked. It's not something that we're gonna see on our balance sheet every month. But I think if somebody has a decision possibly, do I go to this business down the street or go to this one? This one serves food in styrofoam and they have straws and they have plastic bags, and the other one, you know, we use now, we don't even have stirs anymore. We have the spoons as well, and you know, they have sip-through lids and they don't have straws. I think it makes an impact. I really hope so, and I want to believe that. We even have other businesses come to us and say, okay, where did you order your straws? How can I order them? What can I do? And that is for the straws or the corn straws. I mean, we have a lot of businesses from Long Beach or other areas come to us and say, can you help me find a distributor? We actually had a gentleman that I met through Facebook who said, would you like me to come in and bring the straws that I collect? And I said, well, what do you mean? And he said, I am a local attorney, and for exercise I go to the beach. And one day I realized that there's a lot of trash there. And I can't carry everything, but I can carry little straws. So he started picking up straws on every single walk to the beach. And he says he collects on a single walk, which is about an hour, hour and a half, on average 600 straws a day. And then he brought them to me, and we actually did a photo op, and we had them there, and he had these storage containers filled with straws, and you can tell they're from the beach, they had sand on them. He said, yeah, that's what I do now. The city of Long Beach, for example, came out last week and gave us metal straws, and said, would you mind, we know that you're at the forefront with this, would you mind giving out metal straws to every single person if they give us their email address, because we need to communicate these issues. The conversion in Long Beach is converting to no more styrofoam next year, and they saw that they didn't even have people to contact, so they wanted to reach out to Long Beach, and they felt like by giving away a straw that would help them. And the response was huge. So I warned them and I said, look, everyone here is really passionate about this. We're going to need a lot of straws. And they said, well, we brought you a couple hundred, so we're going to be back next week. And I said, okay. And I had to call them that night, and they said, okay, we're out of the 200 straws that you gave us. And they couldn't believe me. And they said, well, you do know that you need to collect an email address. I said, yeah, and I have over 200 email addresses for you. So people gave us additional email addresses, and the employees from the city couldn't believe it, and they came back and they brought us more straws, and they said, this is unbelievable. So it was really surprising, that the response is so positive. We bought this over a year ago, so that was in the very beginning, and it was difficult to find somebody to make these, and then we actually had our name engraved on it. So at the time, this is what we could get, and possibly for the future, I might actually go with the bendy one. We ordered initially 500, and I think we placed our third reorder, so at this point we sold like 1,500 of the straws. I was afraid that I was going to sit on the straws, so I thought, okay, 500, that's a lot of straws. Let's see if we can sell them. And we even have other businesses come to us and say, okay, where did you order your straws? How can I order them? What can I do? So we sell them currently 2 metal straws plus the cleaner for $4.99. And I kind of based that on our purchase point. I didn't really want to make a ton of money. It's not, it's not a business model. I sell coffee beverages. I just wanted to provide an alternative for my customers and not gouge them at the same time. Currently, no straw or a corn-based straw. We've never offered the metal ones. I would imagine possibly there's some shrinkage involved if we would have them. I'm not even faulting the customer. They might actually think this is a giveaway. So the only thing we recently changed is that we now, when technology has prevailed, there are now suppliers out there that make lids that you can drink through, the sip-through lids, so that we see it frequently that folks still use that lid and then put a straw in it. So if I have the chance and I feel like I have the time, then I'll strike up a conversation with the guests. And sometimes it's again about education. There is this bigger hole so you can drink out of it, and they go, oh. And then many times you might hear, yeah, I know that, but I still like drinking out of a straw. 70–80% are no straw now. Yeah, it's quite a bit. All businesses still have a little receptacle under the counter with the corn straw, and we only use that for the person that cannot live without a straw. And we never seem to have to fill that in. We serve in most of the businesses, up to 600 customers a day, so it's fast-paced and there's a lot of people. But out of the 600, to have just one person ask for a straw. And typically you can see that. It's kind of interesting. They have this like searching look. They're looking over the counter where all the sugars are, and then I can tell, okay, they're looking for a straw. Yeah. And sometimes all it takes to say, oh, we have these new lids and you won't need a straw anymore. We're completely straw free. And they go, oh, that's right. Oh yeah, that's right. They just have to be reminded. and again, because I feel like it's such a strong habit that has been developed. There's so much out there now. Most distributors are now, they have options for you, so you just need to ask them. And honestly, the more you ask and others ask, the price will drop, the product will sell more. So it's interesting that there are, options out there. I can go to multiple people and say, oh, and they all say, oh yeah, we carry those now. So would you like to see, we have a new line, we now have these. So I think the product itself is really everywhere now with different people, where before, like a year and a half ago, I really had to search for it. It was not something that was readily available, and now most distributors carry it. So have quite possibly not made this conversion that some of us have made with the metal straw, and you have a little pouch and you carry it in your purse. I know that seems a little bit overboard, but you know what? I see it all the time. So, and it's really, even to us in the restaurant, it's great when I see that. And somebody breaks it out and takes it out of their purse, and then, oh yeah, I brought my own straw. And that's not our doing, it's just the world. I think we're all changing and we're learning, and it's great that it's happening. So I just brought two. Typically, I have one in use and the other one is at home. So the pouch will just contain one, and then I go out to dinner or a restaurant somewhere and I pull out my own straw after use, and you can kind of make sure there's not a ton of liquid in there. The pouch will just contain it, so it's not whatever liquid I was drinking, it's not in my purse. And then I come home. I actually use like a little brush, and we sell both. So we sell 2 straws with a little brush at all of our businesses. And then I just clean it, and then this little pouch gets washed here and there. So depending on what I was drinking, if I was drinking water, then I don't need to wash it every single day. So it's just a new habit, and really, I don't even think about it anymore. It's like bringing a bag or a basket to the grocery store. I just have my straws in there in my purse, and if I switch purses, then I switch my straw, just like I put my wallet into the other purse. It's just become habit. Yes, there is a trend, and it is middle-aged to older women typically that are the ones that have that. And they're typically, and I understand that, so women have a purse. So as a man, you can't really put that in your pocket, or so it's not something that is easily carried. So I understand the whole women thing. Now we see a lot more younger women, but I mean, even younger folks don't typically have a purse anymore, so it is the purse carrying ladies. Bendy straws, and I've heard that, even metal bendy straws. So a lot of folks told us, we're just selling the straight straw, and they're like, oh, I wish you had the bendy straw. So they're now preferences,
Yeah.
It's not just about intaking the liquid, but it's about preferences, what your straw looks like.
Okay.
I've seen different materials. I've seen glass, bamboo, paper, anything. So that's, if anybody is in doubt, we've never had a negative impact that somebody said, I'll never come back here because you were strong. Just jump in it and do it. It really doesn't take much. It doesn't take a new piece of equipment. You're not, you're not venturing into a whole new business world. You're just taking an item away, actually. Just do it. It's nothing bad will happen. It's rewarding at the end of the day. I mean, I think, it's financially rewarding. You're doing the right thing. There's really no downside. If you have all the options there, and if you are, still providing straws for somebody that really needs them, then, you're just offering an alternative.